Trustees and Joint Fire District for June 6th. Thank you. She would have killed me.
Yep.
Okay, let's try that again. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the regular meeting for Lafayette Township Board of Trustees, Joint Fire District for June 6, 2022 at 7 p.m. Roll call for attendance.
Fullerton.
O'Neill.
Warcola,
Rubensaw.
would stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, first order of business is we have two sets of meeting minutes. We have the meeting minutes for May 16th and special meeting of May 27th. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yep.
Any comments or discussions?
28.
No, it's 27.
You're
Yeah, I know. It's 27.
sorry.
I know you. Any comments? Any discussion?
I don't have any problems.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve. I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay, motion carries. Both sets of meeting minutes are approved. Okay. Public participation. Anyone have anything to bring up? Yes.
I'm Bethany Deffler. I'm the Executive Director of Medina County Economic Development Corporation. And wanted to thank you for giving me a few minutes to discuss an economic development proposal for the township. For the folks in the room who may not be familiar with our office, our goals are to attract, retain, and expand businesses in Medina County. So obviously, those activities include administration of a number of different incentive programs, such as the Community Reinvestment Area Real Property Tax Abatement Program, also known as CRA. So I'm going to call it from now on. So we work on behalf of the Medina County Commissioners and about a half dozen townships in Medina County to administer their CRA programs. So there's probably more than a dozen in the county. And we worked with Lafayette Township in both 2009 and 2012 to establish the Lafayette Township CRA program. Since our activities and I guess our marching orders calls for assisting individuals and companies who have capital investment projects, we were approached by the new owner of the Medina Country Club a while back to provide assistance for the planned three-phase investment that they're looking at. What we were told is that due to rising costs, which all you do is drive down and watch any gas pump as the prices seem to go up minute by minute. So obviously the costs of construction continue to rise. So in order to make their full vision a reality, they're looking for assistance. So there are a number of different tools that our office can help with, and we certainly will be doing that. But one particular tool that could help is a CRA tax abatement incentive. But the country club is not located in a tax abatement zone, so it would require the township to expand the CRA zone. So I'm here tonight to gauge the interest of the township trustees in working with me in the county to apply to the state of Ohio to expand the boundaries of the existing zone. This is nothing that needs to be decided tonight. I did want to give you some information, answer any questions that you might want to get answered, or ask questions of me that I need to come back to you with answers to. So I want to just provide some information to you. This is a map of the CRA zone. Bill, would you like one? And you can see that in yellow is the, the yellow zone is the existing CRA zone, so that combines the one that was original and then the one that expanded. And in thinking about how we can maybe help incentivize this development, as well as provide assistance to homeowners in the area, in both the existing zone and the potential expansion zone, there's a couple of options that I at least wanted to put on the table for your consideration. As I mentioned, the tax abatement zone provides real property tax incentives, not just for commercial and industrial properties, but also for residential properties if you are planning to expand. So page 2 in your packet actually has the list of the exemption schedule, and you can see that for residential expansion, there's actually a 9-year expansion for remodeling residential units if you're investing at least $2,500. So that's obviously something that could benefit the residents of the township in these zones, and something to keep in mind as you think about the expansion area. The area outlined in purple, I would think, in order to incentivize development in this corridor where it seems appropriate, it would basically flesh out the remainder of that corner where Innovation Park is located, that Lake Road and Wedgewood Road property, as well as about 1,000 feet, it's an estimate at this point, but I would say about 1,000 feet beyond Wedgewood Road, on the south of Wedgewood Road, that would cover the potential investment at Medina Country Club. I would recommend that as at a minimum if you decide to move forward with expanding the zone. The green area to the south would be obviously eligible to expand because it is contiguous. This would pick up a number of residential properties which are really quite old. I did a quick search of the auditor's office and found that, and it's not a complete study by any means, but there are homes as old that were built in 1870. There was one built in 1888, another in 1880. There were a good handful built in the 60s and 70s, and then there are some that are a little bit newer, less than 20 years old. But I think there's certainly justification if the township were interested in incentivizing both homeowners to invest in their homes, which would add to the tax base, as well as incentivizing a potential very significant commercial development that could significantly enhance the township's tax base. And I'm not going to go into details on it because I know that I'm going to give you all a chance to think about it. Obviously, I think there's a zoning meeting next week where this will come up, so some of the questions about their specific plans may be answered there. But the other data that I have in your packet are basically show what the potential gain to the township would be for individual phases of the project, as well as the project if it were done in its entirety based on the cost estimates that I've received from the company. It would show what you would gain even with a 50% tax abatement. So I wanted you to have that information in hand as you continue to work with the company and look at what they're trying to do, and realizing that companies have choices about how much to invest, what they're going to do specifically, and if there's anything that the township and the county can do to help make sure to bring this project to its full vision, these are the kinds of tools that we need to have in place in order to do that.
Can you explain a little bit, not on the business side, but on the homeowner side, how that works? Because when we met originally, you were telling me about this, I was in no way, shape, or form aware that anything like this existed for residential. And people all know about it for businesses, but nothing for residential. Could you kind of detail out what that would entail?
So if a homeowner, if they invest more than $2,500 in a residential unit that's either a single family home or a duplex, then if the value of that home goes up, then the increased value of that home is not taxed at all for 5 years. And then in year 6, it's taxed only 20% of the new value. And then it goes down to the 9th year where you receive an abatement on the 20% of the new value. Anything that's already valued on the auditor's rolls, you continue to pay taxes. But if your investment results in an increase in the value of that home, then there could be a significant tax savings. The idea being that those tax savings help provide you with the cash flow, maybe to take out a loan and make the investment. And so by the time you pay it off, then, your home is increased in value and you'd be able to, pay the increased taxes.
Can a CRA be designed for just a certain usage, like residential as opposed to commercial, or is it all or nothing?
The state requires a CRA zone at a minimum to have a residential portion. From an economic development perspective, our office traditionally usually just works on the industrial and commercial side.
Sure.
So usually you would see at least a residential, then you would see an incentive for remodeling an existing structure, and then an incentive for building a brand new structure, brand new investment.
So if in a residential section, say you have a home and they decide to put up a big bank barn or something that adds $60,000 to the value of the property, that $60,000, the taxes you would be paying on that would be abated per the schedule?
I would have to check to see if new construction in a residential zone would be
Okay.
eligible, because I don't know if a barn would be considered a commercial or
Okay.
residential, but the current Lafayette Township program does not allow for abatements on new residential
Okay.
construction, but if it's remodeling an existing structure, there's an allowance. Now, you certainly could create a category that would abate construction of a new home. The only communities where I really see that happen are more urban communities, not very much
Okay.
in rural communities.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions I can answer at this point, or questions that I need to go back and do some research on?
No, it looks like you gave me more information than I'd asked you for the other day, which I appreciate.
And I also made sure that it was the correct school zone, because I think what I had been thinking about, I thought it was in the Cloverleaf zone, but I recalculated it for the Medina City school zone.
Yeah, the purple, you say on the bottom of this colored map, potential minimum expansion area. You said 1,000 feet, is that what?
Yeah, so
From
this-
north to south.
so those- I think 1,000 feet would cover where the commercial expansion would be for the Medina Country Club, the new owners there. So, oftentimes I just pick an entire parcel, but in this case, I don't think we have to abate a bunch of golf courses, so.
So technically, you said no new construction, so it goes into that fairway, is that what we're calling it now?
Fairway lane.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
The
They-
residential homes in that area would not be abated unless you decided to do that. See, shaking heads.
but only the commercial
Only
that's
the
being
commercial.
demolished and rebuilt, that's new.
Correct. Otherwise, the only residential abatement in any of these expansion areas would be for remodeling of existing residences.
But a new commercial would be abated.
New commercial.
Brand new commercial would still be abated.
Correct. That would be Division C and D.
Okay.
So, I think probably the wisest course would be, obviously, this is a lot of information to take in all at once. If the township does decide to move forward with it, then it would really be on my end to work with the application form. I would have to, once you tell me, hey, here's the area that we want expanded, then I have to do an official housing survey, a lot of information gathering. I would have to prepare legislation that would have to be approved by the township, first of all, and then by the county. That would be included in the application along with a bunch of other maps that, I would take care of on my own. At no extra charge to the township. And then we would submit it to the state of Ohio. It normally takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks before they would say, yes, you have a new zone. Only at that point would you have an expanded zone, and any company that wanted to construct in, say, a new expanded zone, they would have to submit their own application, and at that point, you have to come back to the township, see if that's an abatement that you want to grant, create legislation, approved by the township, back to the county. So it's a whole process in order for a company to actually receive an abatement. So just expanding the zone is not a guarantee, it's not a promise. It's saying, hey, here's a zone that we could potentially offer incentives, but every incentive has to be negotiated and approved separately and individually. And a company would have to have all of those agreements approved before they could break ground on any new project if they wanted to enjoy an exemption.
So in this particular circumstance, it's a two-step thing. First, to decide whether or not we want to approve the CRA, and then second is the application that he would have to submit.
Correct. So I know that, there's work to be done on the project and what his plans are, so I believe, you know, I'm assuming at some point there'll be some outlines of, hey, here's what we want to do, and here's the order, or here's the investment. So at that point, then I can come back to you and say, hey, is this something you want me to pursue? And you'll have more information about the project to be able to respond to that. And then we'll take it from there. So,
What kind of timeline are you looking at for that date?
To create a zone?
Well, to hear back from us.
Oh, well, actually, I'm going on vacation next week, so I'm okay if we wait till July.
Okay.
I mean, because I'm the one who has to do the work, right?
Works for me.
Yeah, so, you know, I understand they'll come next week. You know, you'll have some chance to sort of think about it and absorb it, and then I'll regroup with you in early July, and take it from there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, anything else?
My
Yes.
name's Carol Laney. I have a question about the garbage. I understand that there's some townships that collaborate together and get a reduction in the price of garbage. I emailed Ty about it. I just found out, like Montville, they paid like $20 for 3 months worth of garbage. I mean, I'm on a senior citizen plan, but if I can get it a little less pricey than what it's out there, I'm not sure how we go about doing that as a township.
I'm not overly familiar with, I know, I've actually, I brought this up a long time ago at a meeting, and, well, we won't go there. But basically, there was a township that did it, I don't know if it was York, maybe, and there were just horrific issues that came up. People were just really PO'd that they did it because the way theirs was set up, and maybe it's just because the way it was set up, they bid out to the 3 big garbage pickup people, and whoever came in with the best overall package was awarded the township. And you had, and I don't know what all the exact numbers are, but you could only have a certain percentage of residents choose not to use this service. So if it was Alice's trash service, only 10% of the township could say, we don't want to use Alice's trash service. When you got to that one person was past that 10%, tough luck, you've got to use them, or you can't use anybody else. Now, but that's the way it was written. I don't know if it could be written differently. I don't know how you could put it in. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I was trying to find a good way to segue into this. But over the past couple weeks, one of the trash carriers has been having problems making pickups. And I used them, and I was one of the people who was not getting picked up. And it's happened to me a couple times, and I called, and I understand their pain. They basically told me, I talked to one of the managers who said, we don't hate you guys, we can't get anybody down in your area. It was Lodi, he said Lodi, Seville, down through Wadsworth, that whole section, he said, we just can't get drivers down there. Which, I understand that, I understand how hard it is to find people, but that's not my problem. I'm paying you money to come get my garbage. What I did find out from them is, I don't know they do this automatically, but if they've missed pickups from you, and if you call them, they will give you a credit for, like, if they missed, because I think one of the subdivisions was like 3 different weeks they missed pickups, so they were getting 3 weeks worth. Now, that's small consolation, we got trash piled up to the sky, but at least you're not paying for it then, it's something, it's something.
Can we look into it? I mean,
Absolutely.
My trash comes every week, and like
Yeah.
I said, I'm on a discount senior rate, but if we can get it even less expensive as a unit
Absolutely.
here,
Absolutely.
I mean, why not look into that?
And I would think that if we would get into this kind of a situation where all of a sudden they're not coming down to pick up, as opposed to random people calling and complaining, if you had the township calling as a whole saying, here's, 4,000 residences that we're putting it in the contract, if we would be billing with you, I don't know if you could do this, and it's something Bill would probably have to get in the middle of, but if you miss over this many, then we're dropping you like a hot potato. And we have that option to do it. And there was another issue, I think, with the one in York where there wasn't a cap on rates they could increase by.
Yeah. 'cause
So
usually
there was a lot, but again, if you write your contract properly, I mean, if you give me all the room in the world, do whatever I want, I'd be foolish not to take it. But if I put limits on what you can do and can't do, then I've got to live within those rules, and if I don't want to, then I don't bid the contract. So I personally think it'd be a nice idea, like I say, we talked about it, and one of the things we talked about were like in some of the subdivisions, where there's maybe 3 different trash haulers coming through. So 3 different days a week at 5 o'clock in the morning, we got garbage trucks running through. So why not just 1 day a week where they come through? You know, so anything that would help kind of reduce that stress and noise. But yeah, I would have no issue. I would put it to my colleagues, my learned colleagues. Is that something that we'd like to look into?
Sure.
Certainly wouldn't hurt, I mean, that's,
Okay.
Carol, what did you say Montville was paying?
I heard $20
A month.
every 3 months.
Every
And I
3
pay
months?
I'm in on
$65
that.
every 3
I-
months. And I heard it was a 50% reduction, is what I was told.
That seems awfully
So,
low.
I mean, 50% reduction for me would be, what, $33?
Yeah.
So.
See, I know I'm paying right
$33 better
now-
than 65.
I pay like 72 for 3 months.
Okay, well, they wanna charge me 80-something, and I
Yeah.
called and said, I'm an old lady, and I need a discount, and they gave me a discount.
Well, every time they raise my rate, I call them, I tell them, this isn't right, I think I'm just gonna have to move, and all of a sudden my rate drops.
Right,
So it's like anything else, squeaky wheel gets the grease. I
Right.
actually had a resident call me, I'm not gonna use names, I had a resident call me and was complaining about that. They were actually getting less service, my service is 5 to 10 bags once a week, no trash cans, just, you know, the big bags. And I was paying right around $70. They were 1 to 4, and they were paying 120 a quarter. So when I got the rep from this garbage company on the phone, I had them call this other resident, and she called me back later and said they cut her rate to $65, which kind of annoyed me because it was less than I'm paying now. But it's like anything else. If you push it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And part of what they told me is if you've been with them for a long time, they take that into consideration. So, but that's certainly something we can look at doing.
okay.
If you two are okay with doing that.
Sure.
So who would like to take that up?
I will.
Thanks, thank you. And thank you for the voucher.
I was just about to. It's a good deal, Chris.
Thank you for the vouchers
Twisted one.
also. That's
Oh,
that's
for
very
the,
nice to have the voucher to
for-
be able to
Yeah, yeah.
get rid of some of our
It's
stuff.
a neat way to do it. It's a neat way to do it. And it keeps stuff out of the ditches.
Right.
The random refrigerator that shows
I'm
up in the
cleaning
ditch.
ditches on Friendsville and
Yeah.
Chippewa, so I'm out there,
Yep.
so.
Yes, ma'am.
They had, C.W. Martin, they had a contract with, wasn't it Chippewa? That they did all theirs?
Right.
We were C. Martin,
Yes,
and
we
we never
had seen Martin
had,
for 30 years. and then
Curtis
all of a
never
sudden-
gave us a deal.
You probably didn't beat on him enough, maybe.
No, doing it, it's Kim, who bought him out, Kimball?
Rumkey.
Rumkey.
We're Rumkey
You
right
know,
now.
Rumpke bought C. Martin.
We're Rumkey right now.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if he did or not. I know when he was asked about that, Curtis was never, I don't think was ever really a big fan of contract hauling. He said he wasn't a big fan of doing that. He said, even if I do get it, I don't think it's a good idea to do. But that's one person's opinion. I personally think, and I've always thought there's power in numbers, right?
That's right.
So if you get a whole group, as long as the contract is written properly, that you can't get stapled hard in the end. But if you're careful with that, and I'm certain with Bill looking it over, we'll be more than covered. Be more than covered.
We're talking waste disposal, that's all.
Yeah,
Not rocket science, not nuclear.
I agree.
fuel now.
I agree. Yes,
Just on that garbage thing, what got York all bent out of shape was they were forcing, as you said, everybody into it. The people as a whole in the rural residential areas did not want anything to do with it because they had alternative ways that they were getting rid of the trash. When you have communities with large homeowner associations, which we do, they have the power on their own to contract for a single hauler within their subdivision. And that eliminates having 3 or 4 trucks going down there. And then
Good point.
that leaves the rural areas not having to do, a lot of them drive down, they take their pickup full, so they drive down to the plant. That's what they got so upset about. Montville is quite a bit of residential in some.
see, my understanding was, and it may be completely wrong, was that the issue was, if you didn't want to have anybody pick up, that was okay. But you couldn't, if they were using these guys for trash pickup, only certain percentage of the township could use these guys or somebody else.
10% could opt out, and I'm not 100% sure, but I thought the other 90% had to take the service whether
Okay.
they wanted or
And
not.
I don't know enough about it to be sure.
That might be,
Yeah.
you know.
No, they had to, you're right, they had to pay.
They had to pay.
Regardless.
And
That's the
this-
only way they were able to give the low rate, is they had
they
basically
forced
everybody.
everybody into it, and a
Yeah.
lot of the, way more than 10% of the rural residential residents were the ones that got all bent out of shape because they were being forced to pay for service they don't
That they had
want.
never used before.
They never used before, they have other methods of what they do with it, maybe some are legal, some aren't, but they didn't want anything to do with it. So Mountville is, have a lot more subdivisions and stuff.
A lot more rural. I mean, actually, a lot urban.
More urban than what Lafayette has, so I can see where they would be more in favor. With you, I find $20 every 3 months just a little bit optimistic.
I mean, that'd be wonderful, we could do that, that'd be cool. I'd
It
sign that
sounds
up right
too
away.
good, but, $35.
All right, we can check
I mean,
that.
that's just
Chris,
something to look
you'll
at.
have that up?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, anything else? Yes, sir.
Did you have something you wanted to say first, or you had raised your hand last time, I wasn't sure? No. Okay, anyone, all right. I have a question following up on the service reciprocity agreement with Westfield Township.
Okay,
I understand in practice how these agreements are supposed to work, but based on the fact that we have 3 full-time service members, 2 part-time, and Westfield has 1 full-time and 1 seasonal employee. And then a month ago, I provided you guys with township documents showing that we're spending significant more time working on Westfield roads than Westfield's spending on Lafayette roads. Can you guys let us know why, like, what the actual benefit of this program is to Lafayette?
do you want to take that one?
In my opinion, I don't think it's worth the paper it's written on.
So I don't kill it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't re-up it, I'll tell you that.
But it's.
In my opinion, I mean, I don't know what.
No, I get it, but I mean, it's, the way it's written, it's indefinite, so there's no commitment, we're gonna kill it tonight.
Well, there's an expiration date on it of 23, I think.
Yeah,
That's why I haven't given it a whole lot of thought, but, yeah, I wouldn't re-sign it if it were up to me.
Okay.
Based on the information that you gave in the packet, I didn't see where Lafayette was getting the short end of the stick on it. I mean, I don't know the entire year last year, but from the timesheets provided and the logging, it looked to me like Lafayette Township came out 8 hours ahead
Well, that was.
and a 40-hour week for a vehicle. That's,
Right, but the documents that I showed also showed that there were dates where 8 hours were logged for Lafayette working in Westfield, yet all 5 Westfield crew, or all 5 Lafayette crew members were in Westfield. So that 8 hours that was counted on the summary created by Rick Evans was actually 40 hours of our labor the taxpayers in Lafayette paid for. That's where the discrepancy comes in. And I guess a follow-up question to that would be, since we're talking about that, that was one of, at least my understanding, that was one of the reasons that report and its inaccuracy was one of the reasons Rick Evans was terminated. Is he currently being investigated by the state auditor for those actions or any other actions?
I'm not aware of it. Do you know anything about Rick Evans being? There is. He is. I'm not aware of any investigation.
Nothing's been brought up to my attention,
It has or it hasn't?
has not. I have not been approached as of yet.
Nor have I.
But since you said as of yet, you expect to be?
No, I have, as of today, I haven't been talked
But you're
to.
aware it's being investigated by the auditor?
Just by Bill saying that, yes.
This is the first you're hearing of it? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Ty, anything special on service we need to bring up? Again, this is our first meeting of the month, so we don't have the consent agenda, we don't have the monthly reports.
Main Drive's going, I think they're opening bids for the second time, I think tomorrow. So maybe by next meeting, we'll have some better information.
Chief,
I
anything?
have a question on Main Drive. Who's doing that work now? Is that the parks?
The township is doing that as part of our agreement, yeah, to lower the bids to make it more attainable for a contractor.
Chief, anything from fire? Okay. Nobody from police? Anything from zoning?
Just a couple minor, well, major minor things. Country Club, the Fairview Landing is, I wrote a permit for their model home. And so they're gonna be digging it this week, and the survey there that we had lined up to handle those things is out of town at the moment. We can't do anything. So for the model home, I'd like to use our existing surveyors that we have already.
We've used them in the past.
We've used them in the past, and, you know, we will look into, or I will, and Chris will look into whether or not we need to do anything further. Anybody have
I have
any
no
issues?
problem with that. Chris?
No.
Okay. And also with Fairview Landing, I've got a pile of paper this high in the back seat of my car. It's all the drawings and stuff that eventually we'll have to get out to the zoning commission. They want to present for the new building, the academy, the golf academy, which is, I'm pretty sure, which Bethany is referring to. And as for general information, in order for them to even build that particular building, since the plans had already been approved for a street going into the golf course, the 9 holes disappearing, and approximately 50 houses being there, according to the plans now, the 9-hole golf course will stay there, and they're not going to put any homes on the physical golf course itself. And since that's the only plan that was approved, it has to go through all the foolishness of getting approved. So they're bringing in the preliminary submission Tuesday night, not tomorrow, but a week from Tuesday, to the zoning board so they can look at it. And I have a meeting with the CPC director, Denise, Wednesday morning, because she had questions about it, so that's just an FYI.
Okay, great. All right. Any correspondence? Anything, I'm sorry, Alice, anything else?
No, at this point, I just wanted to make sure that the three of you were aware of those things. Thank you.
All right, correspondence, anything came in, need to bring up? Old business.
Yeah, old business, Wedgewood Estates, the Fetchco saga we've been working with. We had to have a special meeting to create a resolution for consideration from Medina County Commissioners to either extend their bond or call it. And Tuesday was the deadline, and Tuesday afternoon, the county inspected it, and everything's done to their approval. And also, the 2 big chunks of street where Ryan Holmes contractor broke the curb, Fetchco did it, and Ryan Holmes told Fetchco just to send them the bill directly, so they're gonna pay for that, so.
Great.
That project is done.
Awesome. Okay, I've got something, it's kind of old business / new business. At our last meeting, we did a resolution to get us in gear for the police levy. And we got back the form, DTE Form 140R, and based on the preliminary information that I was given and what we put into them, we were gonna get back a whole lot more money than what we were gonna need. So I asked the auditor's office to give us a new estimate, and the millage now goes, it was a renewal of a 2.3 mil levy with an increase of 4/10. It'll now be a 2.3 mil levy with an increase of 2/10. And that's gonna get us to the actual dollar figure we need.
Which was 406 or
For,
something?
well, no, it's a little bit more than that, it's 413,
413.
413.9. So I would move that we adopt this resolution. Again, it was the same one we did before, is that we can formally go back and ask the auditors for all this. They need to have a formal resolution to do it, not just the email back.
Right, and so just go back to the first step again,
Mhm.
Marty. Renewal,
It's a renewal with increase. And the renewal with increase allows us to, there's something called a rollback. And if you were able to watch the special meeting minutes, at the end of the meeting, Steve, you did record that piece from the auditor's office on that, didn't you? Okay. There, Mike goes into great depth on how this rollback works. And basically, any levy that was put in before a certain date, the state kicks in 12.5%. I think it's 12, 13% of the money that the residents don't have to put in. So as opposed to putting in $100, you're only putting in $87.50, and the state puts in the other $12.50 in. So but if you put out a new levy, you lose all that. That's why most everybody, when they do a levy, if it's one's been out there, it's always a renewal with an increase. That way you get back to where you want to get to. If we did a brand new levy, the millage would actually show up as being lower, but you'd be paying more of it out of your own pocket. We'd be getting more money, but we'd get zero from the state, so it'd come out of your own pocket. It took several times reading through it and listening to it to finally understand it. But it's basically just a kind of way to get some extra free money from the state. So that's why these levies all go out as renewals and not new levies. And even if you would have a levy that you could do a decrease on, the reason, again, the same reason, you don't want to do a new levy at a lower amount, you do a renewal levy with decrease, because then you get the state's rollback money that keeps coming in. I think I got that right. Bill, is that close?
Right, it's close.
Okay. I'm getting better.
You lose the rollback is the key if you don't renew
Yes,
it.
yes.
You go new.
All right, so this would be Resolution 16, 2022. So I would move that we adopt this. Do we have a second?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Do we have to rescind the previous one, or is this?
No, this just,
is
because remember,
changing?
all this does, Chris, is goes back and asks them to formally give us this piece of paper. They gave us this just so we knew what we were doing, but now they'll go back and do it formally, and then we go back and then we accept it, and that's the last step before Laura then turns it into the board. Okay? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign? Okay, that motion carries. So Resolution 16, 2022 will go in. All right, other new business. We don't have anything on the first point, right, the town hall?
No.
Okay. For those of you, if you have your agenda in front of you, one of the bullet points is town hall repairs. The town hall is kind of rough. It needs a lot of interior cosmetic work to make it look nice. Not necessarily fancy and elaborate, but just make it look decent. But before we do that, we've got to put a new roof on it because it still leaks like crazy in the heavy rain. So several years back, Rick Evans went out and got quotes on putting on a new roof. And all those, obviously everything's much more expensive now. But we need to really revisit, do we want to do anything? Because the building is going to start, I think personally, just fall apart. If you've been in there recently, you've got the windows all leak. It's not a pleasant place to go into if we're renting it out to our residents for not wedding, but for receptions and for other events. If you're gonna have it, it should look decent. If you don't wanna have it, then tear it apart. But you don't wanna be, in my opinion, you don't wanna be in the middle of it. So we're gonna ask Rick to go back out again At that time, again, this was several years ago, we got a quote for putting a new roof on, and then he went out and quoted materials that he would do in off-season to interior, like he went and rebuilt all the bathrooms. So ways to save money by that, and just making it a little bit more suitable, a little bit more usable space. Second point, purchase a microwave for the town hall kitchen. There really isn't a way to heat stuff up in there. I think it'd be a nice thing to have there. I know they're not overly expensive. I would like to open that for discussion. What do you guys think about getting a small microwave?
I think it's a
$200
good idea. From what I understand, several people come and look at it, and they ask about it, so.
Okay. All right, what kind of a cap limit do you want to put on it? I haven't bought one in a long time. I don't know what they cost anymore. Or you want to go out and get some prices and talk about the next meeting?
I mean, what if we say 300 now, and if it
Okay.
exceeds that, then we'll talk about it. If
All
not,
right. So are we okay to go out and have Sherry look around for one? If that's okay with you guys?
Sure. Yep.
All right, with a cap of $300?
Yep.
Okay. Do I have to make a motion for that, or can we just say we're gonna do it? Okay. I would like to make a motion to allow Sherry to go out and spend up to $300 for a new microwave for the town hall. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign. Okay, and last point under new business.
Put it there. Run, Laura.
We, Laura has agreed to look at our employees handbook and give it an overhaul. She's been intimate with it, and as the fiscal officer for the township, fiscal officers are the kind of official, unofficial HR person as well. So Laura has agreed that she'd work the overhaul with assistance and input from the department heads and from the trustees as well. Thank you very much for that.
True statement.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And now I know which one the right book is, as opposed to two undated ones.
Who knows? 2013 is the dated one that we have,
Okay.
so.
All right, anything else?
This gov deal that was on the table here.
Yeah, we have the old fire truck that we were we are getting rid of. Bill, it went off on gov deals, we had a $10,000 minimum on it. It went up to a grand total of $4,500, so it did not sell. I've asked the chief to go ahead and put it back on with a opening bid of $10,000. That way people know what it is. Apparently there was a lot of activity, a lot of interest, but nobody bid it up high enough. And unfortunately, the way that the bidding works, it's kind of like it is on eBay. If you have a reserve of $10,000, the guy who got it here at $4,500 might have bid $9,900. But if somebody else only bid $4,400, it only goes to $45,000. Well, if they know going in it's $10,000, then you kind of, it's a done deal we could hit. So we're gonna give that another shot. Okay? Are you guys okay with that?
Yep.
Chris?
Yep.
Okay. Do I need a motion for that one, Bill, or am I okay?
I think you should have a motion to authorize the chief to-
Okay.
for the,
Because of the new, okay.
well, for the minimum.
Okay. So I would move that we would have the chief relist the truck on Gov Deals at a minimum price of $10,000. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign. Okay, Bill, you had something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, I got two things. The township purchased through the National Business Institute an unlimited live seminar package last year. It expires on the 20th. If we re-sign up, there's a $200 discount, so it'd be about $800 for the entire year, which is about 2 courses. Once you go, these other people can come as well. I mean, it's not limited to just myself or a trustee going to it.
Okay.
So, and then there's also the one that the state is putting on, the OTA is putting on a new township law seminar on June 16th. I'd also like to get registered for that to see if I missed anything and see what somebody else's thoughts. And again, if everybody else is interested, we could put it on here. But we'll be during the day, so.
Are we open here Thursday during the day, Chief?
June 16th.
Should be.
Okay, all right, okay.
So if anybody else is interested, rather than just doing it at my house or, someplace we can just put it up on the big screen. And we've done that before, and
So the cost for the,
I'm not sure what the cost of
the
that one
cost
is.
for the year-long one is how much?
$7.99.
All right, so $800 for that, and then the other one is,
I'm not sure what the cost is. I couldn't come up on the phone.
okay. Typically, is it
They're not much.
like $100?
They're generally under $100.
Okay. All right, I would move that we approve Laura to cover those two costs, one for the Township Law Seminar from OTA, and the other one for the NBI subscription. You have a second?
NBA.
Yeah, I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign?
Once I get my computer back up, my house is all ripped apart, they're redoing the floors. I will get the time and send it out to you, anybody,
All right.
in case you want to.
Yeah, I would like to go to that. Thursday's a good day for me.
And I also found out Laura isn't getting some, because they do also have training directly for the trustees and for the fiscal officer, that are aimed at issues for both,
And,
on the OTA. the
oh,
OTA.
oh, yeah, I've. haven't you
Laura's
been-
not been getting any,
Oh, yeah, I've had a couple of those.
yeah. So I will,
How
when
to
I
find grant money.
find out what's going on, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing they have.
Okay. Do you guys get those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know why she's not getting it, but, because most of there's a lot of them are directed to fiscal officers,
Sorry.
Is that this Thursday?
so.
This coming Thursday?
No,
16.
16.
16.
All right, anything else, Bill?
Nope.
All right, anything else before we adjourn? Yes.
I'd like to ask a question about the fire department here. Is there, I understood there was gonna be like a clinic here, that was the thing, that like a day clinic, like if my godson or my grandson was here and got hurt, that there was a clinic that was gonna be open? Isn't that was something when
There
they
was-
first built this place that was supposed to be available?
That was part of the original idea. There's actually a small room back there that's set up right behind the lobby area. It was supposed to be set up like if somebody came in with a fever, doing wellness checks and things like that.
Okay,
That just has never gone anywhere.
okay.
That's never gone anywhere. Chief, do you want to comment to that at all?
I think, as I understand it, the original thought process was to work with Cleveland Clinic to see if they could send a nurse practitioner or something once a week or whatever is what I was told,
Okay.
and that just never came to be, so. Right now, so.
Okay. That was exciting news if it was gonna happen, that it was available to us. But, okay.
So I'm not sure if there's anything different than that, so.
Not that I'm aware of. All right, then I would move that we pay the warrants to the township and adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second?
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming.
Yeah, that,
No.
Marty, that was gonna be part of the expanded police and fire services, where they were going to allow the paramedics to administer shots and administer care directly to the hospital.
And you work
And my
like a tank.
understanding, that when hospital got taken over, is when that kind of,
We're all kind of fading
yeah,
out.
you needed somebody to